friends, it's about time for me to change my guitar strings. You know, there are lots of videos you can watch on changing your guitar strings, but I haven't done one of my own yet, so I figure I'll go ahead and do that today. And these are the items that I will be using today. First of all is the desk or a table. Kitchen table works great, and it's just something to put it on. This mat is just something for dishes. My wife uses it to dry the dishes. This is a pillow from the couch, and it'll be nice for your guitar neck to sit on there. We have polishing cloths. Now this is the polishing cloth you can buy from Fender, but there's a warning about this. Sometimes the emblem on here is kind of raised and it will scratch your guitar. So you got to be careful not to use that part of the surface, but the rest of it is fine. Personally, I just prefer a microfiber cloth like the kind that I used to wash my car with. We need a set of strings. I prefer an extra heavy tension on my classical guitar, and so that's what I'll be using today. You need some kind of pliers to grip onto the strings. You can use your bare fingers, but it gets a little wieldy and you might actually hurt your fingers a little bit. So it's good to have one of these. And also because of the cutter, so you can cut the string. You should use some kind of a guitar polish or cleaner that does not hurt the finish on your guitar. And this is something called Guitar Honey, but any kind of oil that's good for wood would be fine, and this is going to be only for the fretboard. And a string winder, that's going to come in handy. You'll use this a lot. The first step is to get rid of the old strings, so making sure that you are not going to ever need to use these strings again, you can just cut them right off here. Be careful that they don't snap into your eyes. Don't want to hurt yourself here. Notice how the nut just fell right off here of the guitar. That's not really unheard of because the nut is free floating and there might just be a tiny amount of glue or none at all holding it in place. So don't be too scared if that happens to you. Now over on this end, we're just going to push these strings through this way, like that. And I'm going to show you how to make those clever little knots. They're actually very simple. The bridge can just stay put. We're not going to mess around with the bridge. Over on this end, it's going to take a lot longer because we've got to unwind the strings far enough to be able to pull it through the other direction. Okay, we've got all the strings off. Now if you're using an oil type product for your fretboard, you put one drop of oil in between every single fret, just one drop. This is a spray, so it's a little different. I can spray it onto the fretboard, but it's hard to get just the even amount. So I'm going to spray it onto this cloth. So I spray it on here. You don't need a whole lot of this. So you know you got the right amount of oil when it's shiny but not wet. If it's dripping wet, you've got way too much. Okay? There should just be a nice little shine. And then I'm wiping it to make sure it gets in all the fretboard. It soaks into the grain of the wood. Okay, I'm not pressing hard at all. I'm just trying to spread the oil around evenly. Okay, now we're going to wait a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, because we want the oil to seep into the fretboard grain. So while I'm waiting for that to seep in, I'm going to go ahead and spray the guitar polish. And we'll start wiping off the top of the guitar and the back and the sides. Don't press too firmly, you're just trying to make it nice and clean. Move this is in my way. Get that bridge out of there. See, now that your strings are off, it's pretty easy to access the entire guitar. And back of the neck. The fretboard's still wet, so I'll try to keep it off of the pillow. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes since I put the oil on the neck. By the reflections, I can see that there's like a little bit of wetness in the fretboard. Shiny, like it's moist, but it's definitely not soaking wet. And that's good. That means the oil has gotten into the wood grain a bit. So now I take my cloth, find a clean place on the cloth, and now we're going to rub a little more aggressively because we're trying to make sure that oil gets into the wood. And whatever excess is going to seep into the rag. Okay, so when I look at it in the light, it should look clean and dry. Okay, so now I'm getting my strings out of the packaging, and notice how the strings are labeled. Also notice how I've oriented the tuners so that the holes are easy for me to see and access. I finished the video and I noticed that I didn't have a single good close-up, so I'm going to try it on this D string again for you. Okay, we put the bridge end in first. Okay, give yourself a couple inches of slack, maybe more. And what you're going to do is you pull it over and around itself like this. See, it's underneath. Okay, then it's going to come through that loop that you just made. Okay, like this. So you're going through your own loop. All right, don't worry about twisting or turning anything. And now take the string and I'm going to go through the loop a second time. Okay, so I'm just going to poke that through like this. And there it is a second time. And it looks like that. All right, and then from here, now I just pull it tight. And I'll use the pliers to get a good grip on it. There we go. There, see how it's nice and neat down there? And I'm just going to pull it tight on both ends. And there you go, there's your knot. And that will not slip thanks to the wonders of friction. When you're over here at the tuning peg, now you're going to place the string inside the hole. I'm going to pull it through from the other side, like so. Okay, and now I want to make a loop around this tuning peg and feed the string back into itself. So I'm going to pull this string back around. See how it's coming back up again? Okay, and then I want the loop to be in between the hole and the windings that are going to be created. Okay, so I'm going to put the string down one more time so that I can make this hole, or this loop. All right, and there you go. Now I'm going to poke the string up through the loop that I'm making, like that. See how that worked out? And now I have to reach down and pull it like this. Okay, and you can kind of see a simple slip knot forming there. Can you see that? Okay, we'll pull both sides to make it tight. It'll come loose until I wind it. That winding it will make it nice and tight. So I'm going to place my finger on top right here. Then I take my tuner and start turning it. Okay, and the winding is going to go toward the center of the headstock. Okay, I got about a half a turn. Let me check my work. Hold on to this just in case. And I can see It's just barely starting to turn around. Okay, so we definitely need more windings. Put my finger back on and keep turning. All right. There we go. Now it went around one full turn more. This is just the beginning of the string that I was working with. Notice my slip knot right up here where my fingernail is. Okay. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to keep turning this. Okay. Now we're getting a few windings, so I'm going to drag or pull these windings toward the hole, which helps again to create that friction that I need to keep everything nice and tight. Okay, the string is not yet in tune, and we're going to just keep on winding it. And I will say that it takes a long time for classical guitar strings to get in tune. What I mean by that is that you'll tune it up today, and then you're going to tune it up about every 5 minutes for the next week or more. All right, so we take our high E string, we feed it through the hole. Okay, and then just like before, take about a couple inches over here. Get enough so that you can wind it around itself. Okay, I can go through the hole. This is a lot smaller string. You could probably do 3 loops in here, but I usually just do 2. All right, there's enough there. I'm going to hold on to that with the pliers and pull it with the other side. Okay, so it's snug, and it's going to get even tighter when you tune the string. Now we go over to the nut side. I feed the string down into the hole. Pull it back around. Oh, now what I do differently on this string is I like to feed it through more than once. Because it's so small and thin, it can come right through these windings and come back at me. I'm going to leave enough slack here to tighten it up when I'm done. Okay, like that. That makes me feel a lot more secure about the whole process. Now I'm going to go ahead and thread inside there. That's my loop that I made. Okay, now we're going to start winding the string. And I'm trying to make the windings go toward the middle or my left of the hole, meaning the middle of that peg. So it's hard to see, but the windings are going toward the opposite side, which creates tension against the hole, and so everything stays tight and doesn't want to slip off. Okay, I put the strings on the guitar 6 days ago. I've been tuning it several times every day for the 6 days, and it's still not quite there, but it's getting closer. All right, and so with a little patience and a couple of trials, you'll be doing this as well.